This well was a place of dark local legend, sealed since his grandfather's time after a series of strange occurrences no one dared speak of anymore. Every instinct screamed at him to stay put, to ignore the impossible sight, but an inexplicable, powerful pull drew him towards it, a silent summons he couldn't resist. He wrapped his old turban around his head, his fingers trembling slightly as he grabbed his misbah, the prayer beads that had been his constant companion for decades. The sacred words were warped, the beautiful melody turned into a grating, dissonant chant that made his teeth ache. Allahu Akbar, God is the greatest, became a sickening whisper of Allahu Asghar, God is the smallest. Hayya ala salah, hasten to prayer, was distorted into Hayya ala dala, hasten to mis. His hands shook as he raised them to his ears, the traditional gesture to begin his own call. An end to their suffering, but they must pray to the thirsty one. Sheikh Rashid's aged fingers tightened around his misbah, with each smooth bead that passed through his thumb and forefinger. He recited one of the 99 names of Allah, Ar-Rahman, the most gracious, Ar-Rahim, the most merciful, Al-Malik, the King. And I would rather die of thirst than lead them to drink from your deception. Then he did something that sealed his fate and saved his village. He reached up and unwound the white turban from his head, the simple cloth that had been his crown of piety for 60 years. With steady hands he bound it tightly around his own eyes, blinding himself to the tempting sight of the water, to the false promise in those depthless, soulless eyes. He was blind, but he was not lost. Guided by faith, and by the memory of a path he had walked every day for a lifetime, he turned his back on the well and made his way to the minaret. He began to climb, step by familiar step, into the dawn that was just beginning to break. That morning, the people of Qaryat al-Noor were awoken by the most beautiful adhan they had ever heard. Sheikh Rashid's voice, though still cracked with age, carried a purity and power that moved them to tears. He sang each word perfectly, his voice soaring with a renewed conviction. And as he did, a miracle unfolded. With every verse that echoed from the minaret, rain clouds began to gather in the pale sky, real clouds, dark with moisture, sent not from a cursed well, but by the mercy of Allah. Later they found him at the base of the minaret. The turban was still bound across his eyes. He had passed away peacefully, a slight, serene smile upon his lips,